Good day, everyone. My topic today is all about the skeletal system. Skeletal system is your body central framework. It consists of bones and connective tissue, including cartilage, tendons, and ligaments. It is also called the musculoskeletal system. So, cartilage is it is a firm tissue but is softer than bone. And tendon is connective tissue that connects your bone and your muscle. And the ligaments, the connective tissue that connects bone to bone. So tendons, it is a tissue that connects your bone and your muscle. And ligaments, it is a tissue that connects your bone to bone. Skeleton is traditionally divided into two major parts: the axial skeleton, which includes your skull, spinal cord, and rib cage, and the appendicular skeleton, the second of the two major part is the appendicular skeleton, which includes the appendage and the girdles, and that attach them to the axial skeleton. So this is the picture of the axial skeleton. It covers your skull, your spinal cord, and your ribs. And the appendicular skeleton, it covers your arm, your hand, your leg, and your feet. Bone or osseous tissue. So the other term of our bone is osseous tissue. It is a hard, dense connective tissue that forms most of the adult skeleton. The skeletal system is the body system composed of bones and cartilage and performs the following critical functions for the human body. First is it supports the body. Second, it facilitates movement. So without bone, we can't move. Although we can move, but we can move like a worm without bone. Protects its internal organ. So as we can see that our rib, it protects our heart, our lungs, and our skull. It protects our brain. So it protects internal organs. Also, it protects blood cells. It produces blood cells rather. So some bones are not only producing blood cells, it also produces red blood cells. Next, it stores and release minerals and fat. So our bones also will release minerals and fats. So not only for jogging, stretching, but our bone itself will release minerals and fat. Support structure of the body. So without the bone, we don't have the countenance, the appearance like what we have now, because our bone were the foundation of our structure. So bone, the other term of the bone is osseous tissue. So it's hard. It is a hard. So some bones are hard. Some bones also are flexible. Like cartilage, it is a firm tissue, but it's softer and much more flexible than bone. So these are the facts about the skeletal system. So mo na siya mga tinuod about sa atoang mga kabukugan. The skeletal system consists of more than bones. So nagconsist gid siya og unsa mga bones. So daghang bones. Next will be the adult human skeleton is made up of 206 bones. So we have sa adult daw, sa skull, sa part sa atong skull, we have 22 bones. And diri dapit sa atong spinal cord, we have 33 bones. And shoulder, girdle, and upper limbs, we have 64 bones. And sa atong ribs, we have there 25 bones. And sa atong lower limbs, so sa atong dapit sa atong hita sa atong paa dapit dira, natay 62 bones. So all in all, we have 206 bones for those adults. Next, the skeleton protects vital organs. So as we have discussed, so that the skeleton protects our vital organs. Next, some bones produce red blood cells. So, not only red blood cells, but it produces also white blood cells. It comes from the bone marrow. Next, long bones have three main parts. So, kung mga tag-asa na itong bones, like sa atong arm, sa atong leg, it composes of three main parts. So, first is the bone marrow. Bone marrow will be found inside of your bone. Ibig sa mura siya bitaw kabantay mo ng magkaon mo bukog, then nay murag medyo murag utok bitaw sulod sa bukog. So that is the bone marrow. Then next main parts, medullary cavity. So muna siya ang nagsunod na layer. So after sa bone marrow, next is the medullary cavity. And lastly is the compact bone. Muna siyang sulid, muna siyang upper part sa atong bone, the compact bone. Next is the some joints don't move or move very little, no? So some joints daw sa atong bukog nga nag-connect, wala nag-move, mura yung relasyon mo naglihok. Then ang uban, some move but very little. So galiyok lang pero hinay lang. Sa example ani sa immovable is atong skull. So atong skull is dili man siya buo. They are connected with tissue. So the bone of our skull will not move. And some joints of our bone from our knee, some bones will not move, although they are connected by joint, what we call as joint, but it connects through tissue. But some joints are not move but very little lang, kamay lang. Then lastly, infants have more bones than adults. So sa adults, we have natay 206. So here in an infant skeleton has almost 100 more bones. So 100 more bones daw than the skeleton of an adult. Bone formation begins at about 3 months gestation and continues after birth into adulthood. So about 3 months gaka-develop ang bone sa bata. So from more bones to gaka-decrease, gakagamay through kay gaka-develop man siya, no? So that are the fact about the skeletal system. So we are now in the adaptation. So adaptation, unsa siya pag-adapt sa tuwa as an physical education. Skeleton protects, shape, and support and move our bodies, as well as produce red blood cells. So as I have mentioned ganina, in the bone marrow, the red blood cells were produced. Joints are also important. So important po ang mga joints, giving you the freedom to flex or rotate parts of your body. So without your bone, you can't flex, you can't dance, you can't play sports. Why? Kung wala kay bones, you're just like a worm. Do you see a worm? A worm, wala na sila bukog. Although makamove sila, pero mura tag-ulod. Mura kabalod-balod ba? Sira tagkuan, hid-hiyod. And also, joints are important. So, without joints, you can flex. No? Kung ang atong bukog straight lang, then wala siya joints, di makakalihok. Although makalihok ka, pero mura kagwan, you're like a stick broom. Do you see a stick broom? So, straight lang. You can flex. Next. So, these are now the 5 functions of the skeleton. First, protection. So, first duty is the protection. Bones are made to be our protection. The cranium. Cranium is our skull. This other term of the skull. And ribs protect the brain and vital organs in the chest. So, our skull protects our brain, and ribs protects our lungs, heart, and other organs inside there, and the chest. Chest, it protects also. Next, shape. The shape gives the body and makes you tall or short. So, our bone is what? Is the reason why we have shape. Shape like a human. No? And our bone also can makes us what? Can makes us tall or short. So, many people are murmuring or blaming why they are so short. So, this is because of their bone. They are tall. This is all because of their bone. So, why they are tall. Next, support. Supports, it holds your vital organs in place when playing sport. The vertebral columns hold the body upright. So our bones support us when playing sports. So it is the medium why we can move. Next is the movement. Muscles are attached to bones. So as we have discussed that there are tissues that connects the bones and the what? The muscle. That what we call tendons. Right, tendons. And when the muscles contract, the bones move. So, when the muscles daw makontract, the bones mo daw maglihok. And one thing is that when you punch something, then he or she feels mas nasakitan siya, it is because of our bones. Our bones can give us force. Also, muna siya ang hinungdan nga nung masakitan ta. Oh, dili sa uyab na. Blood production. So, as we have discussed nga, the bone can produce red blood cells to carry oxygen. So, the red blood cells is the function to carry oxygen. And also, it produces white blood cells. So, kung masamad ta, muna siya ang respondi sa atong kuan para ta maulian og dali ba to protect against infection are produces in the bone marrow of some bones. So, these are the products of the bone marrow. As we have discussed, that bone marrow is found inside the bone. So, nasa sulod. So now, these are the responses of our skeletal. When the body engage in exercise training several times a week or more frequently, each of these physiologic system undergoes specific adaptation that increase the body efficiency and capacity. So, the way we have our exercise training, several days, several weeks, or frequently, it increases the body efficiency and capacity. So, the way to mag-exercise, the way we play sports, our body will be blessed. Why? Because it increased efficiency and capacity. Next, osteoblast. Osteoblast activity increases when you exercise. So your bones will become stronger, and the more exercise you do. So the more daw ta mag-exercise, the more malig-on ang atong bukog. No? Inani tang ratio. The more we exercise, the more where your bone will be strength. This means your bone calcium stores increases to cope with the demand for calcium. So exercising is also reduces the risk of osteoporosis. So the way we exercise, the way pod nga mag-produce og enough calcium nga needs ato ang bukog, so that may mo siyang lig-on. Mo na siya, no? Osteoblast. So unsa ni siyang osteoblast di are the cells that form new bone. Mo din siya. They also come from the bone marrow and are related to structural cells. They have only one nucleus. Osteoblasts work in team to build bone. So dili lang di ay ang ginaproduce sa bone marrow is red and white blood cells. The bone marrow can produce also a new form of bone. And mo siya ang osteoblast, according sa Google, osteoblast is a large cell responsible for synthesis and mineralization. So the way we exercise, our osteoblast will produces calcium. That what? It will mineralization. Naghatag siya mineral sa atong bone during both initial bones formation. So the way nga mag-form siya new formation sa bone, the way we have exercise. So the way nga malig-on ang yang pag-form kay gatag man tag enough calcium nga ma-produce, the way siya nga magbuhat. Kanang itong magbuhat mo dayon insakto kayo, lig-on gina siya. No? Conclusion na ta. The skeletal system works as support structure for your body. It gives the body its shapes, allows movement, makes blood cells, provides protection for organs, and store minerals. No? As a conclusion, our skeletal system that is support the structure of your body. Without skeletal, you don't have a formation of your body. No? Nakay formation pero murag tag ulod, no? And it gives body shapes. So it gives body shape. Allows movement. So kung walay bones, guro ta makalukso, dili ta makabiad-biad, we can't flex. We can flex our body. Makes blood cells also. Provides protection for organs. So our skeleton is very, very important. Bones are important part of the musculoskeletal system and serve many core functions as well as supporting the body structure and facilitating movement. So kung natay facilitating learner, nasa tayo facilitating movement, which is our bone who facilitates our movement. So bone is very important part. Then it serves many core functions as well as supporting the body structure. So that's all for our topic, skeletal system. I hope that you've learned some.